I need to tell you something, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You think you have time, you don't. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's not. It's just math. Let's say you live to 80. That sounds like a long time, right? 80 years. Let's break it down. 80 years is about 4,000 weeks. That's it. 4,000 weeks of being alive. If you're 30 right now, you've already used about 1,500 of them. You have about 2,400 left. If you're 40, you've used 2,080 weeks. Now you have 1,920 left. Less than 2,000 weeks to do everything you want to do, to see everything you want to see, to become who you want to become. Still feel like you have time? I have a calendar on my wall. It's a stoic life calendar. Each box represents 1 week of my life. The filled in boxes are weeks I've already lived. The empty ones are what I have left, if I make it to 80. Every Sunday, I fill in another box. It's uncomfortable, it's confronting, and it's the best thing I've ever done because it makes time real. Not some abstract concept, not someday, not eventually. Actual finite running out of time. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Today, we're going to talk about this. Not to depress you, but to wake you up. Because the truth is, most people sleepwalk through their lives, postponing everything that matters, waiting for the right time, and then they run out of boxes. Let's make sure that's not you. So here's what most people do. I'll travel when the kids get older. I'll spend more time with family when work slows down. I'll take care of my health when things settle. I'll do that thing I've always wanted to do eventually. The most dangerous word in the English language, because eventually never comes. There's always another reason to wait. The kids got older, then they have activities, work slowdowns, then a new project comes up. Things settle, they never settle. The one day you wake up and realize you traded your whole life for eventually. We all have two lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one. Confucius, great quote. Most people are living their first life, the unconscious one, the one where time feels infinite, the one where someday feels like a real plan. This video is about starting your second life, the one where you understand the clock is ticking and you start acting like it. So let's get tactical. I want you to actually do this, not just listen, but do it. Take your age, subtract it from 80. That's how many years you have left. Now multiply that by 52. That's your weeks. Write that number down. Now let's get deeper. How many of those weeks will you spend sleeping? About a third. So take your number and subtract 33%. How many will you spend working? If you work 50 weeks a year, 40 plus hours, that's a lot more boxes gone. How many will you spend on obligations, commuting, errands, admin, stuff you have to do? And what's left? That's your actual life. The discretionary time. The time that's truly yours. It's a lot smaller than you thought. This isn't meant to scare you by any means. It's meant to clarify. Because when you see how little time you actually have, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Every hour you spend doing something you hate is an hour you don't spend doing something you love. Every week you postpone that trip is one less week you have to take it. This is the trade you're making every single day. And most people make it unconsciously. They say yes to the meeting. They say yes to the obligation. They say yes to the extra project without ever counting the cost. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Henry David, great quote. Read that again. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Not money, life. That job you hate, you're not trading 4 hours a week for a salary. You're trading 40 hours of your life. Your one finite, never coming back life. Is it worth it? Maybe it is. Maybe you need the money. Maybe it's a season. But at least make the trade consciously. Know what you're giving up. Because the worst thing isn't making a bad trade. It's making it without realizing. So there's a book I've been reading. It's called The Experiential Billionaire, and it wrecked me in the best way. The core idea is simple. Most people die at 25 and aren't buried until 75. They stop living. They stop experiencing. They go into autopilot. Work, sleep, repeat. Then one day it's over. And they realize they never actually lived. The book talks about becoming a billionaire, but not in money, in experiences. Because here's the thing. When you're on your deathbed, you're not gonna think about your bank account. You're not gonna think about the stuff you owned. You're not gonna think about the promotions you got. You're gonna think about the moments, the trip you took, the conversation you had, the risk you took, the time you spent with the people you love, the currency that matters. We mistakenly think we need to earn more money to be wealthy, but time is the ultimate currency and you can never earn more of it. A quote from the book. Very, very true. You could always make more money. You cannot make more time. So why do we treat money like it's precious and time like it's infinite? It's backwards. So let me tell you about someday. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll tell them how I feel. Someday I'll live. Someday is a myth. It doesn't exist on any calendar. There's no month called someday. There's no week called eventually. There's only now. And then there's more nows until there aren't any. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Annie Dillard, great quote. What you do today is what you're doing with your life, not what you plan to do, what you actually do. If you spend today scrolling, you spent your life scrolling. If you spend today postponing, you spent your life postponing. It all counts. Every day is a vote. What are you voting for? I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. I'm not saying drain your savings on a trip. I'm not saying be irresponsible. I'm saying wake up. Wake up to the fact that your time is limited. Wake up to the fact that some day isn't a plan. Wake up to the fact that you're trading your life for something every single day. Then ask yourself, is the trade worth it? Because here's what happens when you wake up. You stop tolerating things that waste your time. You start saying no to the things that don't matter. You start saying yes to the things that do. You call the person you've been meaning to call. You book the trip you've been putting off. You have the conversation you've been avoiding. Not because you have time, because you don't. So here's some practical steps. Let's get tactical. I'm not going to leave you with just philosophy. Here's what you actually do with this. Step number 1, calculate your weeks. Seriously, do the math. How many weeks do you have left if you live to 80? Write it down. Put it somewhere where you'll see it. Again, I have a stoic calendar that does this visually. Every week is a box. Filled boxes are weeks lived. Empty boxes are what's left. Seeing your life in boxes changes everything. Step number 2, audit your time. For 1 week, track how you spend your hours, all of them. Work, sleep, scrolling, commuting, TV, obligations. Then look at it. How much of that time was truly yours? How much was spent on things that matter to you? Most people are horrified when they do this. Good. Horror leads to change. Step number 3, identify the life drains. What are you doing regularly that you hate? What are you tolerating that you shouldn't be? What would you eliminate if you admitted your time is finite? Write it down. Not everything can be eliminated overnight, but name it. Because awareness is the first step. Step number 4, identify what actually matters. If you had 1 year left, what would you do? Who would you spend your time with? What would you stop doing immediately? Now ask yourself, why aren't you doing that now? The answer is usually fear, or comfort, or the illusion of infinite time. Step number 5, put it on the calendar. Not someday, an actual date. The trip, the conversation, the project, the thing you've been putting off. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. Someday becomes real when it has a date. Step number 6, protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Start saying no to meetings that don't matter, to obligations that drain you, to people who take and never give. Your time is your life. Stop giving it away to anyone who asks. Step number 7, create experiences, not just memories of work. Every month you do something worth remembering. Doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be extravagant. A day trip, a deep conversation, a new restaurant, a walk somewhere beautiful. Stack experiences. They compound and become who you are. At the end of your life, you will be the sum total of all the experiences you've collected. They become your identity, your legacy, your gift to the world. Another great quote from the book. That's the goal. No more stuff, more experiences. So here's the gift of mortality, and here's the twist. Knowing you're going to die is actually a gift because it makes life matter. You've lived forever. Nothing would be urgent. Nothing would be precious. You could always do it later, but you don't live forever. That's what makes now valuable. Every moment matters because it's finite. Every day matters because you don't have infinite days. Every person matters because you don't get infinity time with them. Death isn't the enemy. Forgetting about death is the enemy. Because when you forget, you waste, you postpone, you sleepwalk. When you remember, you live. I'm gonna wrap this up. You think you have time, you don't. Not being dramatic, just honest. 4,000 weeks, that's what you get, maybe. And you've already used a bunch of them. So the question is, what are you gonna do with what's left? Are you gonna keep postponing? Keep waiting for someday? Keep trading your life for things that don't matter? Or are you gonna wake up? Fill in your boxes consciously. Spend your weeks on purpose. Stack experiences. Say no to the things that drain you. Say yes to the things that fill you. You don't have time to waste, literally. So stop wasting it. That calendar on my wall reminds me every single day. Every Sunday, I fill in another box and I ask myself, was that week worth it? Did I spend it well? Am I proud of how I traded my time? Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes it's not. But at least I'm asking. At least I'm awake. That's what I want for you. Wake up. Your life is waiting and it's shorter than you think. If this hits different, subscribe. More videos like this coming. Go do something worth remembering, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.